Hi everyone, and welcome to my week 4 of my off-season training recap series. This week my body weight is up to approximately 56.7 kilos, so I've managed to put a couple of kilos back on since I've lost during my comp prep. I've also started testosterone replacement to bring my testosterone back up to a normal level. It was actually extremely low, which explains a lot of the trouble sleeping, the really rapid weight loss that I had. Your testosterone can crash from stress and anxiety, which mine has been really high for a few months. But once it crashes, it means that it can't normalize itself. So hopefully this replacement allows me to get back to a stable way of living and life. I'm also taking melatonin for sleep now. I've been prescribed it by the doctor because we needed to get that back under control. So this week was also my second full week with my new Pioneer Fit belt. It has felt so much better training with a belt that isn't hitting my ribs and hitting my waist, like my hips at the same time. I can actually brace into the belt. I got a custom 3-inch belt, so it's a narrower belt, more like a bench belt, I guess, for example, rather than the standard 4-inch belts that we do wear, most people wear for powerlifting. So let's jump in and take a look at what this week looked like. Day 1 was my first bench day, and I was training in the morning because I had the day off, and I had to self-hand out on my bench. So this absolutely gassed my shoulders, but I was really happy with how everything was moving. It was moving really smoothly, which was great. I also then had overhead press, and this was 30 kilos. It's the most I've overhead pressed in quite a while. I'm noticing a lot more development through my back over the last few weeks, which has been really exciting to see because I do have that imbalance. With the last week of training coming up, I'm very excited to see how that goes. I'm gradually just getting more and more comfortable with loading up my shoulders more frequently, which is really important, seeing as I do have a huge weakness through them. Day 2 was my deadlifts. I did these early in the morning, so I did not have enough food in me. Lesson learnt. The pause deadlifts at 105 felt like absolute trash. I was struggling to keep position and just wasn't moving great. The working sets of triples at 110, they started to fly a bit quicker, which was great, but still just wasn't really feeling it. I also then had pendlay rows, and these were 35 kilos. They were moving easy. I just find them uncomfortable to do. I'd prefer to do a different variation, but I understand why they're good for me. So yeah, they'll get better, I think, the more that I do them. Also had leg press, and leg press moved really well. It was interesting to suddenly jump up 20 kilos again. So I did 220 kilos for sets of 10. It moved surprisingly easily, so I'm very excited to see where I can push that to eventually. Definitely want to be hitting, I think personally, sets of 10 at the 250 mark is probably one of my biggest goals, I think, because I haven't done that in a very long time. Day 3 was my second bench day. It was my only evening training session of the week, and this was good, except for self-handing out. It did not feel great, especially with every single rep being paused, but I managed to keep it pretty solidly consistent with the reps, so that was a good thing. Incline dumbbell press had 17.5s this week. They moved well. I'm still getting a bit of pain through my front delt, but I think that's to be expected after self-handing out my bench. Final day was my lower body / squat day, so I had bodyweight squats, and yes, I did manage to cut my head off on the only set I filmed. So did these with a slightly wider stance, getting ready for when I can actually get back under a bar in a couple of weeks. Also had leg press again. I had 4 sets of 12 with 220 after doing it for sets of 10 on earlier in the week. And oh my God, that was interesting. Walked out of there feeling like I just couldn't walk straight. So that wraps up this week's training recap. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a like, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you all next week.